goal had you jumping up and down on the bench?
Yeah, it's, I think I got about 3 or 4 inches up.
Feel good for Carter, then a couple you probably want to have back.
Yeah, you know, yeah. The one thing that Carter's done is he's come, you know, full circle. There's a lot of, I'll say, a lot of that character that Chris Mason possessed, and Carter's showing it with his work ethic and diligence every day, and I think the guys recognize it. You know, it's you know, a really exciting thing about this group is that, you know, we've had a lot of adversity, and it doesn't quit, and that's really, I mean, that's an intangible. And that group today, you know, said, hey, we got to bail a guy out here, and I thought we played excellent, and we had a little sag, I thought, after the second period, the start of the third period, a little bit of a sag. They're so good defensively, the Devils. You know, they lead the league in lead shots against. The record after getting a lead after 2 periods is outstanding, and they play a real smart game. They just chipped it out, and checked really well, and clogged up the neutral zone. And you know, we found a way to get our goalie pulled, and you know, get possession, and get a little bit of a break there, and stick it out in the net. And then I thought in overtime we had a little bit of jump in the overtime. So I think you know, it was good that Shea decided that you know, I needed to play tonight, and he made the difference. That's why I've been harping to everybody, and you guys especially, but all over. That's why I think he's you know, should get more consideration for the Norris, because I think he's having his best year ever.
Just this performance tonight, he got hurt the other night, missed most of the third period, didn't practice the other day, and then he scores 2 goals and put the game around. It's hard to top that.
It is. He's one of the best at his position, plain and simple. And you know, he's him, and you know, he's a building block. That's where you start with a guy like Shea. So you know, he's a difference maker in this business. And you know, there's not too many guys that are at his level and difference makers in the league. You know, if you got a couple on your team, that's pretty good.
He had a long shift at the end of regulation. You had to put Seth up there.
Yeah, he did fine. Yeah, against Yager. You know, Yager just absolutely amazes me how strong he is, and how fast he is, and how deceptive he is. I mean, he's you know, I've seen Yags for a long time in this league, and he just amazes me what he can do when he got that second goal. He was a big load for Shea to handle all game. You know, at his age, and he just has, Yager has a lot of love for the game. You just see it. He's how many games he's played, and big games. He just likes to play. He's always got a little smile on his face. I think he enjoys every minute he's out there.
Back-to-back games are never easy, and especially hitting the road to go play a team as strong as St. Louis tomorrow night. Let's talk about your confidence in your team to, you know, kind of regenerate and get on track tomorrow night. Maybe pick up another 2 points.
Yeah, well, I think we've been playing pretty well. We've had maybe one clunker in probably the last 10 games, but for the most part, we've been playing really hard and really well. You know, this team last night, I was just saying, you know, we're playing the St. Louis Blues. They played tonight, and they're coming in from Carolina, so they're an hour ahead of us. But for the most part, we'll be on even ground in terms of the travel and playing tonight. But you know, this team right here played St. Louis, I think, twice in probably like the last 10 days, and they beat them 6-1 and 3-2. So you know, they're a hard team to play, and so is St. Louis. St. Louis is obviously one of the top teams in the league, but I don't know. With this group, we're young in some areas, and they've got a lot of heart. They fight through stuff, and so we got to go into St. Louis and try to get 2 points.
Some of the best games this season have come against teams who are playing extremely well, some of these top teams. What is it about playing teams that are on fire that brings out the best in your team?
Yeah, I wish I could answer that. There's a couple coaches that are trying to answer that. I mean, Todd McClellan just went through Edmonton and Calgary. Didn't have much luck like we, you know, sort of like us. And then, you know, we'll turn around and we'll play a big team. I think some of the teams that are maybe a little bit lower in the standings, and maybe you would expect other teams to maybe beat, there's not that much difference. And I think those teams are, you know, maybe behind. They play a little looser. in terms of like pressure situation. So they're embracing those spoiler roles and stuff like that. So those are hard games because there's not much separating a team that's going to make the playoffs and a team that's not. And it's a little bit of mojo, a little bit of team chemistry, a little bit of goaltending, a little bit of scoring, a little bit of special teams, all of the above, and hopefully you can make it work. So we're battling, we're trying to get ourselves into the mix here, and I think the guys are really pushing hard.
Coach, you had one matchup you tried all night. It worked okay, I guess. It was the Legwand line against Henrique's line. Like clockwork every time. You were sort of okay with the way it went out.
Yeah.
Did you expect more?
No, I mean, both the goals we gave up today really wasn't, I just, with the Fisher line, I know that, I know Travis Zajac a little bit from my time I spent with Team Canada over the years, and I know how hard Yogs is to handle, and that was a very good line. And wanted obviously Yossi and Weber against him. I wanted Mike Fisher against him because he's a bull, and Patrick battles like crazy, and then Eric is a real dependable guy, and we just wanted to keep them at bay. And then we felt with Legwand's line and Wilson's line that we could do a job with our D, being able to jump up and play a little bit, that we could maybe win the game if we could stop the big line.
Delzato in the third period, about 10 minutes ago, had a real nice shift, made a couple of hits, laid some guys out. Talk about, is that what you're looking for from him?
Well, yeah, a little bit of everything. Michael's coming into the group here, and he's got some real good offensive instinct. He's got a good stick in his own end. He's got some good battle. Sees the ice really well, and we want our D to be part of the offense. Especially against a team like New Jersey, who's what we call a swarm and collapse and really outnumber you in those small areas. That you've got to keep. You've got to play a 200-foot game. You've got to stay on what they call stay on the pile. You've got to keep your gaps real tight so that they don't have anywhere to move. And mobile defensemen are able to do that. And we've got a real young core of defensemen that are pretty mobile and pretty skilled. And our future as they gain experience and lock down their game, I think that's the way the game's going to be played. So.
You got Jones and Delzato paired together, two young guys that like to join the Russ. How impressed have you been with their communication so far?
Well, so far, pretty good. I mean, I think both bring a little different element. Jones, he likes to probably go a little more end-to-end once in a while, and I think Michael has a little more balance, and that's just experience. As I say, sometimes young guys don't sense danger, and Jonesy's growing. I mean, with Jonesy as a young guy, you'll get a play like you get in Winnipeg, where he the puck goes end to end, and fantastic goal, and there's other times they'll make more of a routine play where it sort of, I'll say, blow up, and that's just living with a younger player who is going through the grind of the NHL, and some nights will be better than others, but for the most part, he's been really good. This guy is going to be a backbone with guys like Shea and Pekka when he gets back, and that we're going to be in good shape for a long time.
How about the resiliency of your offense, not especially in tonight's game, but I mean, even with the road trip, you've been scoring more goals.
Yeah, we've scored a lot of, quite a bit of, I don't say quite a bit, but we scored enough to win games. And it's a little bit of a combination of all three. I always talk about all three zones are connected. I think we've got a really good structure in our forecheck. We've got really good structure on our breakouts, and in our neutral zone, we seem to handle that pretty good. So when they all connect, you end up playing faster. You get more chances, and we're crashing the net. We got on that trip. I think we had 3 goals that were disallowed, and that's because we're around the net. And that's how you win. And down the stretch here, and then these tighter games as we get closer to the obviously the break, and then right after the break, it will be an absolute sprint. So guys are excited about that, and trying to pull themselves into the mix. And there's teams like us and Phoenix and Winnipeg we just played. These are the games that if you hit the right hit the right number, you get yourself right back in, and then you just battle to the end and see what happens.
Okay.